Hello everyone, Fanta here, you're watching FANTAVISION, and today I am doing a video on one of the most difficult topics in my opinion that isn't political or anything like that. It's just a question I get a lot from a lot of people, and that's what my favorite game is. Now technically we're doing like a top 10 list of my personal favorite games of the decade, or best games overall this decade. But it's kind of the same question. What is your favorite game? And I honestly, even though I have this game as number one on this list, that doesn't necessarily mean it's my favorite game. So with that knowledge, let's dive into the list. But before I dive into this top 10 list, please leave a like down below. It really does help, especially when YouTube, I guess, just changed a bunch of analytics. I don't know. Whatever. Let's get going. All right, number 10 is Stardew Valley. Now, this is a game that I feel like a lot of people have heard about, but I don't think a lot of people have played. And if they have played, I don't think they've played enough. There's a lot of people out there that I talk about this game with, and they're like, oh yeah, that game. I've seen it, but you need to play it. It's on everything. If you have a Nintendo Switch, if you got one for Christmas, get this game. Seriously, it's that simple. It's on sale right now on everywhere. It's on sale on Steam. It's on sale in the eShop. It's on sale everywhere. There's no reason not to own this game. It's like $10 and it will give you hundreds of hours of gameplay. There's multiplayer now. It is going to satiate your thirst for Animal Crossing before Animal Crossing comes out. And even then, when Animal Crossing comes out, I think this game is different enough to make it so you'll still want to come back and play this game. Go pick it up. Wonderful graphics. It's a little indie game. Support the developers. Do it. Number 9, Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild is a game that I've kind of gone back and forth with quite a bit. I mean, the more I think about the game, the more I like it. But I remember my first experience wasn't incredible. I wasn't completely awestruck by it. But as I played it, and the more I heard about it from other people and their experiences, I came back to it with a greater appreciation for its graphics, for its open world, for just the simplicity in the music and the score and the weather. And there's just so much to this game, and there's so much to see, and there's so many things that I missed. This is a game that I need to go back to and put more time in, because it's worth it. It's one of those games that I feel like you can beat multiple times. And for me at least, that's kind of a rarity. So it's definitely earning top 10 spot. Number 8 is Red Dead Redemption. This is an oldie but a goodie, and that sounded awful. This game has, I know a lot of people are going to be surprised that actually Red Dead Redemption 2 is not on this list. Because Red Dead Redemption 1, it was just this new, it wasn't like a brand new idea. Gun did exist. There were other Western games out there. But this was the game that I feel like did it the best. It had those random occurrences on the side of the road. It had a wonderful story. And it had that fun, old style of Rockstar multiplayer. Before microtransactions took over, before some stupid economy was a thing, it was just pure raw chaos and bandit camps and people just shooting everybody, and just, it was so much fun. It was so much fun back then. And with the Undead Nightmare, I mean, you could consider that a whole separate experience, but you know what? I'm going to give Red Dead Redemption the credit of that as well. I'm going to mush those together and say that's part of it, and that's why it's also on this list, is because that's insane. That expansion was insane. I mean, they could have slapped together something super basic, something really lazy, and it would have sold well. But this, they went above and beyond, made a great story, a really creepy world, and they did it. They did it again. They hit it out of the park. They had somebody throw it back from outside the park, and they just hit it again. So that entire little chunk of Red Dead Redemption is phenomenal. Number 7 for me is Mario Kart 8, because I have put well over 100 hours in this game. maybe 200 hours in this game, and I have not gotten sick of the racing. Like, occasionally I'll get burnt out when I used to stream it all the time. I do need to stream it again. I know it's going to be in the comments. I promise I will very soon. Got to get that schedule back in order. But even when we were doing it that much, I mean, it took 100 hours to get burned out. It took that long for me to get sick of the game because it's just so much fun. I found myself saying, Nintendo, put out another season pass. I will buy more tracks because it's just such a blast. I love it so much. The graphics, the music, just everything about it, the way it feels when you're driving. It's just, everything feels so smooth. And when you screw up, unless there's some weird item thing, most of the time it's your fault. And I definitely saw myself improving at this game. I just had so much fun. And I never had really any issues with the multiplayer. I've had so many online issues with the Nintendo Switch for like Smash Bros. And stuff like that. But with Mario Kart, never had any issues. Loved it on the Wii U. And love it even more on the Switch because you can play it on the go. I have that experience where I was on a plane and there was somebody sitting next to me. The guy looked like about my age. He was like wearing like a gaming shirt, and I was like, this guy probably likes video games, obviously. He's got this shirt on. Do you want to play Mario Kart? And this is when it just came out on the Switch. And I just handed him a Joy-Con. It was like the commercial. It was crazy. I never thought that would happen, but it was so much fun playing Mario Kart with just some random stranger on an airplane. And that's one of the only games I've really had an experience like that. So, had to put it on the list. Such a blast. I just wish the battle mode was better. It's the only downside. It's the only reason it's not higher on this list is because the battle mode, they never put in the classic one. How hard would that be? I will never stop complaining about that, by the way, until they add it in. Make Mario Kart 9. Put it in there. Number 6 is the game that has been launched on every single console since the 360 and PS3. And that is Skyrim. Skyrim is a game that just keeps resurrecting itself and refuses to die. It will never, ever be some obscure game that nobody knows what it is because it's been everywhere and a part of the last generation of consoles. It's on the PC with a giant modding community. It's been wrapped up in a bunch of controversy over the modding community at one point. And then it's on the Switch, and it's on the Xbox One, and it's on the PS4, and it's on your smart fridge, and it's on Alexa, and it's not really on a lot of those other things. But the fact that it's on so many different devices, and the fact that it's such an accessible game on all devices, and the fact that mods give it an extra life well beyond its years, just like another game on this list, it's just so much fun. I love not everything about it. It's definitely aged a bit, but because of the way the quests work, because of the exploration, because of, like I said, how accessible it is on all the different consoles, like playing on the Switch on the go is a surreal experience. I never felt I would be able to experience that big of a game on the go. And because of that, I have to give the nod to Skyrim. It's the game that, like I said, will never die. I wonder if it'll be on the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series, or just called it the Xbox. It doesn't matter. Number 5 is a game I just talked about on the Switch, like the buying guide, and that's Mario Odyssey. Mario Odyssey is one of my favorite Mario games of all time, if not the best Mario game to me of all time. The only reason it might be edged out by a couple other older Mario games just because of personal experiences I have with friends, like New Super Mario Bros. Had so much fun with friends in that game. I beat that game so many times. That might be edging it out just because, like I said, personal experiences to me are very important with games. And that's another thing that has greatly shaped this list. And I gotta say, even though there aren't a whole lot of personal experiences I've had with this game, with friends or anything like that, because it's not co-op, it's just been such a wonderful game. I always come back to it. I keep playing it. It's like I said in the Switch video, it's like Banjo-Kazooie, but modernized and made incredible. Yooka-Laylee tried to be another crazy great platformer, and I'm sure it's a fine game, but Mario Odyssey took platforming and pretty much perfected it. So hats off to Nintendo for continually kicking ass with a franchise I'm surprised hasn't gotten old yet. Number 4 is a game that technically should not be on this list. I'm just gonna come out clean. I put it on the list because it didn't quite make it, because you're supposed to go from 2010 to 2020, but you know what? Technically, 2020 hasn't happened yet. I don't know if the games are going to be great. So, past 10 years, do you include 2019, or do you include, or 2009, or do you include only, I don't know. What do you include in that? So I'm going to include this game from the end of 2009. And when I saw the release date, I couldn't believe it's been this long. The graphics definitely don't make it feel like this long ago. And I'm talking about Left 4 Dead 2. Left 4 Dead 2 is one of my favorite games of all time because I've not stopped playing it since its release. It's a series that I feel like should be old by now, but again, that modding community has kept that game alive. I'm sure it's still played occasionally, even if there wasn't a modding community, just because of how solid the gameplay is and how much fun it is co-op. But because of mods, you can just add a bunch of stupid crap to it, and it breathes fresh life into this game. You can change out the weapon models to whatever the hell you want. So if you don't want just a regular AK, you want some crazy-ass gun from another game. If you want to make the burst weapon a battle rifle from Halo, if you want to make the pistols a gun you own in real life, if you want to, you can do so many things. You can make the Charger Shrek, and it plays Smash Mouth as he chases you around. You can make the witches sound like the guy from The Room, Tommy Wiseau. You can do so many different things in this game that, yes, technically this shouldn't qualify it as part of the game, but you know what, damn it, the mods are so easily added that I feel like it counts. And like I said to begin with, even if there weren't mods, I'd still be playing this game because the gameplay is so solid. The way they made the AI, the way they have this weird director working in the background, so if you stay too long in a certain area, they just start throwing zombies at you, the different musical stings, and it's just this wonderfully crafted game, and it reminds us that we'll probably never see anything like this again from Valve. And it's sad because they don't care anymore. They have no reason to care. Steam is just pumping out money for them doing nothing. They just have to keep Steam alive, and they're making money hand over fist. And I wish they would use some of that money to put into game development, but I guess it just doesn't make business sense. It's sad to see, but you know what? Left 4 Dead 2 lives on through the mods. Number 3 is a game that just got released again, Halo Reach. I love Halo. Well, I loved Halo. Halo 1 through Reach. That's about it. I know there's some people out there that like Halo 4, like Halo 5. Not my cup of tea. Bungie was where it was at. And you know what? It's crazy to me to put it on this list because when it launched, I was not a huge fan of Halo Reach. I loved the campaign, but the multiplayer to me felt lacking. I did not like the armor abilities at all. I'm still not a huge fan, but coming back to it, it's such a solid multiplayer game. The campaign is so much fun. And I'm sure I'm going to get crap in the comments for putting this so high up in the list, but it's a game that we're still coming back to from so long ago. And it's the last of its kind. Number 2 is my favorite RPG and one of my favorite just worlds, and that's The Witcher 3. I have not played enough of The Witcher 3. I know it's super high up on the list. I mean, I've played it tens of hours, but I still need to put more time in. I never beat the expansions. It bothers me so much that I just haven't had the time because there's been so much crap coming out. Like, I beat the game and then went on to do the expansions, but a bunch of other stuff came out, and I never had time. I need to go back, but even just with the experience of the base game, one of the best games of all time. My favorite open world RPG action adventure game by far. The lore is so full. Like, there's so much lore behind every character in the game. I mean, you get this bestiary, and it comes with the game inside the box. Like, what the hell? You get a bestiary in the box, you get, like, the soundtrack, you get a manual, you get stickers, you get so much stuff inside just the box because CD Projekt Red goes the extra mile. And you know what? They also went the extra mile with the DLC, which is why I said it's like a horrible crime that I have not played the DLC yet, because they didn't charge a whole lot for the DLC and they gave you so much more gameplay. So I need to dive back into the world of Witcher. They've got this show going on and it's again inspiring me, like, hey Fanta, you haven't beaten the DLC, what are you doing? And I'm like, I just need to play through the whole game again, because the side quests were phenomenal, the characters were great, the creatures were creepy, I loved the environments. Overall, phenomenal game. Witcher 3, super cheap. Get it. Go get it. What are you doing? Go get it. My number one game of the decade is a game that either people are wondering where it was on the list, or they're going to be completely shocked that it's my number one. And that's Minecraft. Minecraft is my number one game of the decade for so many reasons. I don't play it as often as I used to, but it's that game I can always come back to and play and just have a wonderful time. I can just get a bunch of buddies together and go, hey, do you want to play some Minecraft? And they go, yeah, you know what, I do. Because it's one of those games that you can just relax, hang out, talk, you just play the game, just do whatever you want. You build some giant mine shaft, you try to get to the actual end boss and beat the game. You can do whatever you want in this game. And the endless possibilities make it this game that will never get old. Same with the graphics. This game will never age because of that art style. Because they went with this specific art style, it will never look bad. Unless you think it looks bad already. I mean, you're wrong, but it's just one of those games that I know is timeless. There are very few things you can say in life you can look at and immediately go, that's going to be around forever. That's Minecraft. Have they done a lot to ruin it? Yes, Microsoft has. They've added microtransactions, they've added like paid servers, they've added so much crap that makes me sad to see it. Like that there's a store in it. And I get it from a business side that they need to make this thing keep making money. They can't just continually run this thing for free. But at the same time, it just sucks that that's what they had to do to keep it going, because they spent $1 billion on it. They got to make money off of it. I wish Notch had never sold it. I wish there was no stupid store in it. But even with all that, it's still a phenomenal game. And it's a game I will keep coming back to probably for the rest of my life. So those were my top 10 games of the decade. I'm sure your list is probably different. I'm sure there's a lot of things in the list that a lot of people would be upset about or think I'm strange for having on this list, but it's difficult. It was really difficult. I kind of had to remind myself, what came out this past decade? I don't even remember. So this is what I put together, and I stand by this list. I'm sure I forgot something. If I did, maybe I'll amend my top 10 thing in the future, but so far, this is how I feel. And let me know in the comments what you think I missed. Like the video if you guys liked it. Subscribe for more content. And as always, have a fantastic day.